All right. Hey, beautiful one. Hey, beautiful ones. Claudine here, your freedom and meditation coach. So, if you've ever felt like you had to hustle to be loved by God or that you had to earn your place through performance, this message, it is for you because in the kingdom, rest isn't laziness, it's warfare, and healing begins where the proving ends. And I want to just kind of get off my notes for a little bit and just kind of say this part. When I say, if you ever felt like you had to hustle to be loved by God, a few years ago, I just joined this church, let me see, 10 years ago, 9, 10 years ago. And we were having a women's conference. If you follow me for a while, I may have shared this before. And I'll never forget, this lady walked up to me. Her name was Tony. And she says to me, God says you don't have to earn his love, perform for his love. And when she said that, something in me broke immediately. And I remember I just began to weep before the Lord because I've just felt that I had to perform for his love. I had to do this for his love. And he was like, just be, just be. We are one, just be. And so I just want to just say that to you all this morning, that you don't have to perform for the love of Jesus, of the Father, of Jesus. You don't have to perform for his love. Just cast your cares upon him and trust and know that he is with you. And so a lot of times as believers, and I'm going to kind of transition now and just kind of say, a lot of times, as believers, we get burnt out, not because we don't love the Lord, but because we feel you have to prove your worth through, constant serving. That was me. Overachieving, over apologizing, emotional perfectionism. And so that's not what the Father has called us to. And so one of the things that I've learned is that hustle is like a trauma response pretending to be spiritual disciples. Yeah, that's what I've learned is really a trauma response. When we do stuff that I got to do this, I have to do this because, it means that I love the Lord. It's really a trauma response. And so when trauma isn't healed, we use performance to fill those gap. Um, and that's not, once again, that is not what the Father's calling us about. And I'm going to say that again. When trauma isn't healed, we use performance to fill the gap that rest was meant to occupy. And so a scripture I'm going to go ahead and look at is Matthew 11:28. It says, come to me, all who are weary, and I will give you rest. Hebrews 4 says, there remains a rest for the people of God. Romans 8 says, you did not receive a spirit that makes you a slave again to fear, but the spirit of sonship. The spirit of sonship. That's what he's called us to. And so we do hustle. What it ends up doing, chronic hustle leads to a burnout in your nervous system, suppressed immune system, anxiety, and fear-based obedience. A lot of us, we're doing things, it's fear-based and not spirit-led. And that's not what God has called us to. He's calling us to rest. He's calling us to love. He's calling us to trust him. Performance mask becomes spiritual strongholds. If I'm not serving, then I'm not worthy. If I mess up, I'm not, no longer loved by God. And that's not scripture. That's not the Father at all. God's love is not based on hustle. It's not based on performance. It is based on his heart and the heart that he has for you. And so I just want to call you all back, bring you all back into remember your first love, to remember Jesus, to remember how much he loves you. And it's not based on performance. It's not based on who you are, how many, numbers or letters you have behind your name. Is no, and let me just say that's is not a blow or anything to anyone, but I'm just saying that's not what God's love is based on. That's not what it's based on at all. He loves because he is love. And so if you want to learn how to break the cycle, say no without guilt, sit with the Father without an agenda. There are times that I do go and I have my prayer list, my notepad, because I'm always constantly taking notes or, with a dream or prophetic word. Then there are other days I just want to sit with the Father because with no agenda. And I truly believe that this is the season, the time that we're living in where he's just saying, just sit with me and just be. Just sit in my presence and just be. Unplug. Breaking the cycles, unplugging from doing and allowing yourself to once again just be. Ask God, am I resting in you or trying to impress you? True rest is agreement with heaven, and heaven is not in a rush. All right, it's not in a rush. And so if I was going to do a title, I guess I didn't do a title in the very beginning. I do apologize. It would be Stop Proving, Start Resting from Hustle to Healing in God's Presence. I know I did it at the end, and that's okay. I felt like I wanted to dig in for this one. All right. So if this message stirred something in you, it's because God is inviting you back into rest. Not just physical rest, but spiritual, emotional wholeness and identity security. All right. So once again, I'd just like to invite you to join the Freedom from Within Circle, where we don't hustle for healing. We rest into it. All right. If you'd like some more information, the link will be in the bottom, or in the bio, I should say, to get connected with the community. All right. With the Freedom from Within Circle community. All right. I love you all, and shalom.